allowing ourselves to degenerate.
These ODM legislators say they will take to Parliament the discussion on why candidates who sat this year's Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education failed en masse, and they've asked the Speaker to convene an urgent House sitting. Part of the agenda, a possible impeachment motion against Education CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i for presiding over what they termed as a fraud that condemned thousands of students to an uncertain future.
Impeachment of the so-called Dr. Matiang'i is not something that is far-fetched. It's something within our cards. If that is what it's going to take to restore sanity in the education sector, it will happen.
The outcome of this year's secondary education exams has caused an uproar, with many terming the results irregular.
The question to ask here is that, how and then could they have passed their mocks under the list of other tests prior to the final exam, and the same negative picture is not observed? Have our teachers become complacent, or was the exam too difficult, or are our children becoming stupid every other day?
The executive was in a rush because Fred Matiang'i, who has been all over trying to say that he's trying to reform the education industry, was in a hurry to actually have these results released. We are not sure whether he's having orders from above.
The leaders are also asking for a thorough audit of the exams that will explain the mass failures. They also say the results should have been standardized before being released.
Biggest challenge is the more than 200,000 students, those who scored D- and below. Where will they transit to? They will face unfair condemnation as being academic dwarfs. This perceived mass failure, if it stands, it will affect the self-esteem, psychological and emotional state of those affected, which may lead to suicide.
Dr. Matiang'i has defended the exam results as an accurate reflection of reality. He said the results showed a normal curve in reaction to the reforms entrenched in the education sector. In their report, examiners noted that most answers to questions requiring elaborate responses were inadequate. The examiners noted that some of the questions that tested candidates' ability to discuss or explain certain concepts were poorly answered, with candidates providing sketchy answers. But the Kenya National Union of Teachers was among those that rejected the results, questioning their credibility. Some teachers also say the marking was rushed. Sheila Sendeo, NTV.